right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Looks like we are live. All right. Down in the basement. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Not the best lighting. That's okay. It'll get it done. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. All right. Sweet. So while we're waiting for the crew to come on in, we got a couple of you guys. Right on. Hello, LT. Lawrence Taylor's on. Man, I burned myself today. I was doing some pulled pork in my Foodie Ninja, and I pulled some out. Ooh, man, hurt like hell. Pulled it out too fast. All right, so while we're waiting, let me get my spectacles, and we'll jump into got a bunch I want to talk about bonds, actually. Bonds. All right. Zero at the equator someday, says Dr. H.W. Wiley. Zero at the equator. Now I got a actually, I might be able to share this with you. This is pretty interesting, actually. As right here. Let's see if I can. Can I show this? Can I share this with you? Let's see. I hope I can. Share screen. Chrome tab. I guess not. All right. So let me. I'm not sure how to share that screen, but anyway, that's okay. I want to share a couple of things here. This is actually pretty funny. So here's Dr. What is his name? H.W. Wiley, and this guy is very important because he says in 1911, the wind will keep us warm. He's a chief chemist at the Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C., this guy. The wind's going to keep us warm. And what he says is, because we got to trust the science, when inquiries are put to him concerning his prophecy of a frozen equator, he thinks the equator is going to be frozen. That's what he said in 1911. This is the chief chemist at the DOA, Department of Agriculture. Let's see. The great social and economic trio of the future is the windmill, the dynamo, and the storage battery, from which will come warmth and energy for an unhappy day when the cooling earth has made artifice imperative. Every gentle zephyr will have his caloric value, and computation of the potentially of the cave of the winds will be included in high school curriculums. But he tells his own story. While skeptics prattle how much wealth may be realized on the gusts around the modern skyscrapers, Dr. Wiley is delving the reliability of storage batteries. While the idlers seek to discover what the voltage of a damsel's sigh, Dr. Wiley is counting the cost of the erection of windmills. For however fantastic may be the the idea of warming oneself in the radiance of a nor'easter has been reduced to a practical basis by the most practical of chemical experts. He's been working for a long time, perfecting and polishing the processes by which he will make electricity of the wind. He delivered a lecture upon whether the human race ultimately starve or freeze. His reply that the earth was cooling so unmistakably that freezing was to be our lot. Starvation can be indefinitely forfeited by means of artificial intelligent cultivation of soil, but what would warm us satisfactorily would be windmills. Warmth and work by electricity generated from the wind. Waterfalls, let's see. The winds are always with us, he says. He says that in his long life of painstaking observation, he's never known any 24 hours to pass without wind. And that for the major portion of time, far more electricity could be generated than would be required. Geologists have for many years admitted that the earth is cooling, says the good doctor. Though it's my personal belief that we still have a lease on life that may well run into 1 billion years. But whether that time of our natural worth is long or short is certain. The hours of it are numbered. Ultimately, the equator will be frozen. Yeah, I don't. It's crazy. The history of the cooling of the earth has extended over many thousands of years, but to this time, no one has discovered a way to utilize the excess heat. Of course, the glacier regions have offered some contradictory proof. I personally believe that when the poles cooled and froze, there was a precipitation of the moisture that had previously been in the air, and therefore glaciers are peculiar formations, not the result of universal forces or conditions. But as long as the earth is in the line of the sun's rays or is near enough to the sun to be swept by the winds that are born of the sun's earth, we will not freeze. All right, so basically what he says, if windmills with dynamos and storage batteries were put up all over the country, there would never come a time when the supply of electricity thus made would be unequal to the ordinary task of a farmer and would keep him absolutely abundantly warm. So basically he's saying windmills. Coal and wood will disappear from the earth. Coal already is dwindling alarmingly, and most ambitious efforts of the foresters will not forestall the final obliteration of the forest. Electricity is manifestly the sole dependence of the future. In the Northwest, several years ago, the coal was so intense and the fuel famine so prolonged that the farmers there kept themselves alive by burning their boundary fences and their outhouses. The winds were frightful in their temperature. Why should they not have been utilized to keep those homes comfortable? It's so funny. By means of a simple windmill, power could be produced, which could keep the homes of the far northeast at a uniform temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit, even in the deadliest cold winter. These people are freaking insane. By the means of a windmill. And then we go over here real quick, and I'm going to share with you this while I'm just kind of goofing. I just share this on electric cars. Oh, my goodness. We just been so taken advantage of by Elon Musk and others. Here's the Des Moines Evening News, I guess. New era in electric cars. Edison's new storage batteries, cause of revolution. Short life cells are a thing of the past, and it removes the last objection to electric car use advanced by the advocates of gas. In the perfection of his new storage battery, Edison has inaugurated a new era in electric locomotion. The successful efforts of the electrical wizard will revolutionize the commercial adoption of vehicles propelled by their own power. The new battery supply a long felt want in the electrical world and remove all objections. In the past, the sale of electric autos had been limited on account of the short mileage of the batteries. Neither could the cars produce the capacity and the speed desirable. Well, now they can produce the speed very quickly. Electric cars go 0 to 60 in like less than 2 seconds. Who gives a crap? I never understood what the big deal about that was. The Edison battery makes possible a mileage at least twice as great and gives a speed of more than 20 miles an hour. And the old batteries, the sulfuric acid eats the steel. If overcharged or left uncharged, the machine is put out of commission. The lead battery cannot be discharged rapidly, and it takes 4 times as long to charge them as necessary to charge the Edison type. Anyway, it basically, we've heard all this crap before about batteries. All these idiots, I'm sorry, you're idiotic if you think this new battery is here to last. We've been dealing with the same thing for freaking 100 years at least. The chemistry hasn't changed. We're not going to get batteries that to take the wind, the power from the wind, and store it so we can use it. It's not going to happen. It's freaking insane that we're allowing this to get in our vernacular as if it's likely to happen in our lifetimes. It's not. And in the interim, we're going to freaking give up our, I'm not going to say God-given right, because it's certainly not God-given, but our abundance of the West under the guise of making Bill Gates and Elon Musk and all these fools richer and richer and richer, while they still fly around on freaking jets powered by certainly not by fossil fuels, certainly not by, quote, green energy. It's insane, man, insane. I'm not so sure hydrogen's the way, Robert. I've read a couple books on hydrogen. You gonna work out? Yeah. All right, cool. You can come in here and say hello. Oh, okay, get some drink. I've read a couple books on hydrogen. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I just, at this stage. All right, good job, buddy. Anyway, the point being is we've heard this all before. And the whole thing with electric vehicles, the whole thing with batteries is just freaking absurd. We have this huge battery. It's wonderful. It works like a charm. It's called uranium, or it's coal. It ticks me off because we are literally going to kill ourselves under this green. Let's see what is BlackRock. I think I did this last time. I gotta look. What's BlackRock talking about today? Because I tell you, man, I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. I love God. But, man, I want BlackRock. I want these guys to pay. I want them to pay for the damage they've caused to humanity. I want them to pay. I want them to be held accountable like the Nuremberg trials. That's what we need, the Nuremberg trials for the green people. We need the Nuremberg trials because they're doing some huge damage, huge. don't know what's going on in Panama. I follow my man Michael Yon. He says a lot of riots and stuff going on in Panama, which is making their food is rotting in the fields. So I'm not sure what's happening. Anyway, just this is insanity, and we're going crazy. It's just fun looking at news. And I heard all this from Tony Heller's thing. Tony Heller, realclimatescience.com. And I've been following Tony Heller for years and years and years. And you should too, but that dude kicks ass. But he did a video earlier today that electric vehicles have been, the problem has been solved. And he talked literally just about that article I just read. It's crazy. All right. So it looks like we got some folks here. Let's see. I want to talk about bonds. All right, so I'm going to share with you a thing on bonds. If I can find the article. Hold on just a second. Oh, by the way, not only did Dr. Wiley, was he a clown when it come to windmills, but he became a lobbyist for the AMA, American Medical Association, and he was homeopathic or whatever it's called, osteopathic, homeopathic. He basically was. It's actually, if you read the drug story by Morris Beale from 1947, 1949, and you recognize the big pharma, how it was in the AMA, how it was all in the pocket of the Rockefellers. Because a lot of the pharmaceuticals were made by oil. It's an incredibly sick thing here. And basically what happened is you have this guy named Morris Fishbon or Fishbine or something like that, who was never a doctor. I mean, never a practicing doctor, who took over the AMA. Is very pugnacious, just like this guy here, who just like went after. He's like the homeopathic people are like, dude, why are you coming after us? Because basically, this guy wanted only doctors to be able to prescribe a medication and not, homeopathic doctors and whatnot. And it's just like literally out of nowhere, all of a sudden, this guy right here, Wiley, was like just going after these guys. And the Food and Drug Act of 1908 or something like that, just going after these guys. It was I mean, you could read the history of it. You're like, whoa, where did this come from? Anyway, he's laying the foundation of how to, no different than what Darwin's guy Huxley did. He was the bulldog on behalf of Darwin. They just attacked, it's literally this. So they learned every generation. You got a guy like this, a Richard Dawkins, Huxley, Wiley, Morris Fishbon, whatever the hell his name is. You got a guy who just attacked. You're like, dude, where is this hostage? It's weird, man. And the people like the osteopathics are just like, huh? We don't even prescribe medication. It's like, what the hell? And it's just like out of nowhere, these people come and they just destroy and they attack, and they're just incredibly angry and hostile. And they're just like, anyway, so what happens is the good people are like, I don't want to be part of this. I'm just trying to live my own life. But what they're doing is they're laying the groundwork for the freaking rockets to come at them at some point. It's disgusting. And you see this over and over again, what they did with Darwin's bulldog, Huxley, what they did with, it's just the way they attack. And like good people like us, this is why we'll never be able to beat back Black Lives Matter or the Greens, because these people have no soul, man. They have no soul. And if you're fighting with people who have no soul, there's no way you can win, because you can never get that deep and decrepit, in that decrepit. You just can't. And you're sitting there thinking, these people are literally, you're dealing with evil, and you can never get that bad. And because you're always going to be taken by surprise, because basically we don't want to lie. We don't want to cheat. We don't want to steal. We want it done right. These people don't care. They just want to, they literally are doing Satan's work for him. And Satan says, I don't care if you lie, cheat, or steal. I don't care. I just want to win. And the funny thing is, all these guys, they think they're going to rule in hell as opposed to serving in heaven. And Satan's like, dude, good. If you ever see the South Park with Saddam and Satan, it's like, all right, yeah, okay, good for you, but it's still, I'm in charge here. And if you can't serve me anymore, once you stop being able to serve me, Satan says, you're just as bad as Jesus, as a matter of fact. And so it's crazy. But these people, I mean, I can't say literally sell their soul, but you're sitting there like, man, what's the hostility? Well, the hostility is hatred, blind hatred. is satanic, and you'll never be able to match that. You just can't, and you don't want to, because if you can, then that inherently means that you're going to be on the outs of God. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Just look at history, time and time again. You got this certain bulldog guy that is just coming at you like, where is all this coming from, man? It's crazy. All right, so I want to talk about bonds, because this is. I did a video on it, but then I got the LGBT screen of death, and so I wasn't able to share it with you. So I'm going to share it with you now. I'll do another video on it, just a sole video on it tomorrow. Anyway, but I'm going to share with you here today. Oh yeah, by the way, Wiley, which is interesting, he says soon we'll live to be at least 100 years old, and it's actually interesting because his case was that clean water. He said Vienna, they had all these 50 cases of typhoid or something like that every 100,000 people, and now because they have clean water supply, the typhoid went down. It had nothing to do with vaccines. It had the fact they had clean water supply, and that's just hygienics, man. Is Enoch Semmelweis, the birthing with the babies being born, just hygienic, just washing your hands, drinking clean water. By the way, did you know back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, most moms, they didn't breastfeed, they gave the bottle. So in Wiley's defense, he said we got to get women, basically I'm paraphrasing, but he said we got to get women back to breastfeeding, because the germs that are in the breast are actually helpful for the babies. And he didn't say exactly like that, but pretty close. I said, well, good on him to say that. I thought that was pretty neat. So even though I'm anti that guy, I thought there's some positive stuff he did say. So all right, I'm going to share this. I'm going to open this article if I can. Let's see if we can't make this bigger. Yeah, sweet. I think I got it. There we go. Cool. All right. Oh man, I did such a good video on this. I was like, oh, everyone's going to think I'm talking about now. All right, but I'm not. All right, so we're going to look at this article, and right here. And small investor, likely loser on long-term bonds. And as I said in my video today that I had to take down, I wish I would have read this article before I bought my Schwab long-term government bond fund. So this is Dateline, April 1977. All right, and some guy named Neil Leslie. I don't know who that is, but that's all right. This is the Press Democrat. I'm sure Neil Leslie is through AP or UPI or New York Times, but I bet he doesn't write for the Press Democrat. I'm sure it's what's the word I'm looking for? Syndicated. All right. A surefire way of let me just bring it bigger. A surefire way of losing money is by investing in long-term bonds during a period of high inflation. I just did that. I just invested in long-term bonds during a period of high inflation. I just did that. I'm going to lose everything. The evidence is clear that by the time the road trip commissions and taxes are taken into account, it's a losing proposition for the average investor. So I bought my long-term bonds at Schwab with the Schwab ETF, so there's no commissions. Just FYI. Admittedly, it is not so for banks and thrift institutions. Okay, they're talking about that. But anyway, but the conventional theory by Dr. Benjamin Graham, father of security analysis, we all know who Benjamin Graham is, all right? And that's who Buffett, was Buffett his protege, or is he the protege of Buffett? Whoever's the senior. So Ben Graham was a senior to Buffett. I guess Buffett would be his protege. He recommends a balanced portfolio with a certain percentage of equity and the rest in bonds, depending on the economic conditions. Unfortunately, he overlooked the invisible losses occurring as a result of inflation. However, have we heard this before? And actually, there are three risks in purchasing a bond. Financial, i.e., can it stay solvent? Well, I bought a government bond fund, so ETF, so mine is there's no financial risk in U.S. government bonds. Two, interest rate, affected by current rates as bond prices decline and rise as interest rates change. All right, so we got solvency, financial, interest rate risk, and then most damaging of all, inflation. To illustrate this, take a look at the cost of living index over the last 31 years. Right after World War II, with the release of price controls, the index shot up 18% in 1946. I just went back here, and I didn't see 18%. I actually saw 14%. So I'm not quite sure where he got that. Now it's fine. It's still in double digits. The following year is down to 9%. So I actually had it reversed. I had 8.3% in 1947 and 8.3% in 1946 and 14% in 1947. So either way, significant inflation after the World War II when they got rid of price controls. So if we eliminate these 2 years, we find some interesting facts. In the 29 years remaining, the nation's inflation rate averaged 3.23, with 2 years of deflation in 1949 and 1954. In the years from 1948 to 1965, the average inflation was about 1%, 1.7%. All right, so basically from 1948 to 1965, 1.7% rate of inflation. But then in 1966, when the impact of the Vietnam War began, and Medicare and things of that nature, the not the New Deal, the Great Society of LBJ, where he says, "Oh, I'll get those N-words to vote for me." Literally what LBJ said, "I'll get those N-words to vote for me." During the past 11 years, from 1966 to 1976, the cost of living has been climbing at an average of 5.6% a year. How is this affected to bond investors? Well, and we're going to look. All right, so from 1948 to 1958, remember, we didn't have much inflation during that time. It's 3.23%. If you put a $1,000 bond in and it had a 2.5% coupon, all right, that means you're making $25 every year, just FYI. After the 3.23% inflation, your $1,000 net of inflation, your purchasing power would have declined from $1,000 to $800 in 10 years. Everybody with me so far on that? Can you all see that? Yeah, sweet. All right, so your purchasing power would have declined from $1,000 to $800. All right, let's just keep that in mind. You also would have made $250 of interest. All right, so that's before taxes, I grant you, but still, at the end of the day, net of inflation, in terms of $800, so you lost 20% of your purchasing power, but you still have $250 of interest. So net of inflation on the bond itself, you're sitting at $1,050. So after 10 years, you made $50 in total return. That's it, $50 on a $1,000 investment. Oh, that's horrible. It's actually better than this. We'll get into it in just a second. But now and if you would have bought a bond in 1966 and you got 5 3/4, after 10 years, your $1,000 bond would have only been purchase worth of $524. All right, so your $1,000 dropped by almost 48%, basically, in purchasing power. Now, you still made $575 of interest. All right, so you're still up $575 plus $525, you're up $1,100. So here you made $100 in total return. You got your money back, even though it had lost purchasing power, but you also got $575 of interest. So you made $100. Here, you got your money back, even though you lost purchasing power, less so, but you still lost purchasing power, but you also made less interest. In both cases, though, net of inflation, you're up income. Not much, but you're up. I just want to point that out because what this guy will say is like, look, since the end of the committee right here in the first, all right, keep in mind that if you add up the interest income, it amounts to $242.41. Not sure where he's getting that, but that's okay. And this would be offset by a capital loss of $199, leaving us with a profit of an 11-year investment of $43. Not a very good deal. And remember, we're talking about taxable income, so you still have to pay income tax on that. All right, but we have a profit nonetheless. A glance says what happened in the inflationary period starting in 1966. You could have hypothetically purchased a $1,000 bond at 5 3/4. The higher the interest rates because inflation expectations were higher back then. But the 11-year period, the capital loss would have been $475, 48% of the investment. The yield would have dropped from I don't know why he says the yield would have dropped from 5.75 to 3. I don't get that. But anyway, total interest, I'm not sure why he's got $475 unless he's taking out taxes. I don't know. But anyway, he's got total interest of $475. I don't get that. Which would have been, you would have had a zero return on an 11-year investment. Again, from 1966 to 1976. All right. As noted before, the interest figures are merely an indication of the long-term loss, showing clearly a declining rate the longer the bond is held. All right, so I want to share with you something here because this is an interesting thing. There's no financial risk in government bonds. We know that because government bonds cannot go bankrupt. Now, here's the interesting thing. Interest rate risk. I want to talk about interest rate risk because all these people say there's interest rate risk, Josh, i.e., remember when you're buying a bond, you can't invest in that same bond. You don't reinvest your interest in the bond. It doesn't work like that. If you're buying an ETF or something like that, it does. But even the ETFs aren't in reinvesting the interest in that same bond. That same bond is closed at issue. You can't just, you can't say I'm reinvesting for more fractional shares of the bond. It doesn't work like that. So there's something called interest rate risk. And, all right. So what happens is, and this is where when you look at like the Ginnie Mae fund and all that stuff, people say, oh, you got to understand the interest rate risk. So as interest rates are going down, all right, so here's the Ginnie Mae or whatever the fund is, doesn't matter. Here I'm getting 3%. As interest rates go down to 2%, my reinvestment is no longer a 3, it's at 2, because this is the current state of the bond market right there. That's called reinvestment risk or interest rate risk. It's the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin. So I used to get 3% as my coupon, but I can't reinvest in 3%. I'm reinvesting at 2%. As interest rates go down, I have interest rate risk that I could have a less reinvestment. It's called reinvestment risk, really. Now, secondly, the interest rate risk that this guy's talking about as the interest rates go down or up, the price of the bond goes down or up. That's irrelevant. The reason why that's irrelevant is because if you hold the bond to maturity, it doesn't matter. It literally matters not. It doesn't mean anything. So their interest rate risk and or reinvestment risk, however you want to define it, I don't care. But the interesting thing is, though, as interest rates are going up, oops, hold on a second. All right, so now as interest rates are going up, I used to have a 3% bond, but now I can get a 5% bond. What happens to my reinvestment? Well, I'm getting a higher reinvestment because the money that I'm getting as a coupon out of that 3% bond, I can turn around and reinvest it in a different bond that pays 4 and 5%, if that makes sense. So the rising interest rates actually help me because I get to reinvest it at a higher rate as well. All right. Now, I've lost principal. Literally, you lose principal if you sell the bond before maturity, but that's not what this article said. This article said, I am holding the bond to maturity, and net of inflation, I am losing significantly. But you're not losing significantly. And in both those cases, you actually made money. You didn't make much, but you made some. And now here's the irony of all ironies. What did the S&P 500 do during these times? So let's take a gander. Shall we gander? Let's gander. All right, so we're going to look at political calculations. All right, so remember, we're talking we're going to go to S&P 500 at our fingertips. Let me show this to you guys. Share. We're going to share my screen, so you can see what I'm doing. Yo, on Rumble. I am on Rumble, by the way. Yo, ma. Sharing my screen. Share my screen. We're going to go to S&P 500. I've already done the work, but I want you guys to see it too. So we're going to start in January 1966. My eyes are getting bad. I'm going to have to get reverse LASIK surgery so I can see close now. All right, 1966. January of 1966. And we're going to go to, what do you do, at the beginning of 1970. I guess he's going to the end of 1970s. We're just going to go to 1976. The end of 1976. After I share my screen. There we go. All right, sweet. So here we go. So here's the index on the S&P 500. The price was $93 in January 1966. It closed at 104. You got $2.74 a share of dividends in 1966. You got $4.05 a share of dividends in 1976. Your earnings, the PE ratio went down from 17.8, way too high. Oh my goodness, to 10. All right, the CPI almost doubled. Anyway, the point being is, check this out. The dividend yield went from 2.94 to 3.87. Interesting. All right, so index rate of return with dividend reinvestment, 4.61. That's gross of inflation. Net of inflation, negative 1.03 with full dividend reinvestments. So I'm not even showing you dividend or interest being reinvested in the bonds. I'm just showing you taking it as cash. S&P 500 with dividends reinvested, you lost a point a year over that 10-year time frame. Yeah. So bonds got killed, huh? Well, stocks got killed even more. If we actually look at what happened to stocks those few years, there's some ugly years in there, amigos. Let's go to right here. Oops. Go back to my man Daniel Coolbert's 55e.co, 55e.co, not com, but co. And we got S&P 500 bucket one. We're going to go to 1966. We got spanked. 1969 got spanked. And of course, 1973 and 74, we got spanked and spanked. Interesting, huh? Bonds didn't get spanked like that. Bonds didn't. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, if we go back to political calculations, this guy actually had 11 years in there, so I'm not sure exactly what, not political calculation. We go back to, political calculations. We're going to go to 1977 because this guy actually had it to I don't know why, but we'll try the end of 1977. And we're going to hit calculate. And here you can see at the end of 1977, we averaged a negative 2% a year for those 11 years. You lost money net of inflation, amigos, even with dividends reinvested. If you didn't reinvest dividends, you're a freaking world of hurt. And that's what you'd probably look at it, not reinvesting dividends, because I'm not reinvesting the interest on my bonds. So it doesn't matter. Anyway, the point being is, isn't that interesting? When the inflation was high, the bonds actually did okay. You didn't make money, but you didn't get killed. And it beat stocks, S&P 500. Crazy, right? So now we go back to what he said he also did, and I haven't done the thing on this year, 1948 to 1958. So let's look at political calculation, 1948 to 1958. Now, will this happen again? Man, I got no idea. No one knows. 1948 to 1958. And I have no clue what this did. 58 at the end of 1958, right there. Calculate. All right, so here, S&P 500 smoked us. Net of inflation, we're up 16% on an annual basis. Look at that. Where the bonds was broke even. Then if we look at the interest rates, so remember, 1948 to 1958, not high inflation. So let's go back and look at the buckets. Let's see what the 1948, this is inflation, this part. High inflation there, but basically 1 year high inflation, couple years of deflation. Not much though. Look at that. 1.3, 1.9, 8, 0.8, 0.8, negative 1.5, 3. Not much inflation then. It's almost like, this is crazy talk. It's crazy talk, but it's almost like inflation isn't the enemy of bonds after all. It's almost like stocks don't do as well in inflationary times. Crazy, right? It's almost like stocks underperform in inflationary times. Bonds will do okay relative to you didn't lose money. And there's no risk if you have government bonds. So all the stuff we've been hearing about bonds getting smoked in inflation, well, where's the evidence of that? Because the only inflationary time of any significance we have in the United States is from basically 1966 to 1982. and the bonds didn't get smoked. I just showed you that. Now, are you going to make any money? I doubt it. You could make a little bit, but you don't lose. Or you didn't. Interesting. Have we all been lied to, or just it gets the vernacular that bonds get killed in inflation? And yet we're looking low inflation has been very kind to stocks. That's a fact, Jack. After the Great Recession, low inflation from 2008 to basically last year, stocks freaking kicked ass, took names. After World War II until 1966, stocks kicked ass, took names. From Reagan through Clinton, the interest rates were dropping off, the inflation rate was lower, stocks kicked ass and took names. And that's it. We got then we got the Great Depression, which is the exact opposite of inflation. That's literally deflation. And stocks, bonds did great. So the point being is, I'm actually convinced now, because I never looked at it like this. But as you age, you start seeing things differently. You say, maybe I've been wrong, because I've been wrong like everybody else. But my point being is, volatility and inflation isn't good for stocks, be it deflation or inflation. Because if you look at the 1930s, bonds kicked ass and took names. That's just a fact. Stocks obviously got killed. Bonds did. You look at 1966 and 1982, stocks didn't do anything. And bonds didn't do anything either, but they didn't get killed. All right. So in some years, stocks got smoked, bonds did not. So it's almost like high inflation or low inflation is the enemy of stocks, and it's to the benefit of bonds. Bonds kind of give you that flat line. Again, in deflation, they give you a hell of a lot more than a flat line. I'm talking government bonds. But low inflation is the key for stocks. Interesting, huh? Has anyone told you that before? No. And yet the proof, and again, it's not proof because we don't have enough. We don't have enough N. There's not enough time to actually to look at it. We don't have enough data sets about inflation or deflation. We have one major deflationary time in the 1930s. Stocks did okay. Stocks got smoked. Bonds did great. We got one major inflationary time from 1966 to 1972. Stocks, ultimately they did okay. They held their own. You didn't make much money, but you didn't get smoked. But you had some years where you got smoked. And bonds held their own. That's just a fact. Then we had a bunch of lower inflation times where stocks kicked ass and took names, and bonds, from 1982 to 1999, other than that, bonds didn't do much. You didn't get killed, but you didn't make any money. That's just a fact. So you're looking at, okay, so in low inflationary times, bonds don't do anything. High inflationary times, bonds did okay. Low deflationary times, bonds did great. Interesting. Are we going into either of those three? So we got three choices: low inflation, high inflation, or deflation. I'm on the side of very, very low inflation, a la Japan, deflationary actually, for sure, for the foreseeable future. But you could be on the side of high inflation. I don't know, for the short term, I am, until we get our energy crap under control. And we might never, I don't know. But until we get our energy issues under control, I'm more convinced now than I've ever been about the need for government bonds in your portfolio. Really, I am. So I sit there and think, I just shared it with you. So let's see what you guys got to say. I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Treasuries, literally what I'm talking about. So I bought the SCHQ, I think, the Schwab Treasuries. And it's also, by the way, just this doesn't mean you throw everything into the. I had a guy. Where did I see this guy? Oh, and the Viva Frey locals page. I couldn't believe it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. The guy's like, get out of C fund, get into G fund. I got my ass handed to me in C fund. I said, dude, what? If you've been in C fund for any time other than like maybe the last 8 months, you freaking kicked ass and took names, dude. What are you griping about? Yeah, 60-40, man. Yeah, T-bills are not long-term. I'm talking treasuries, like long-term bonds, 100%. T-bills are short, 30-day, 90-day cash. I don't like that. My man Andrew says, Yeah, well, now here's the argument though. We're not getting 7% CDs right now. That's the issue. So what the argument against the bonds would be, but Josh, the rates are still so low, and back then they weren't that low. And I said, well, that's true. I mean, so back in the 1950s, the rates were still low, and then they went into the 1960s, they went up. Okay, people still did fine. That would be the argument. You're not getting a 7% CD right now. You're still getting a 2 and a 3%. Well, you're still getting a 2 to 3% even in the early '60s. I mean, and again, you didn't make any money, but you get crushed. And look, I'm not. Everyone's got to do differently. What I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, you're like, dude, if I want some protection, and I think in high inflation or deflation is coming, the history, and there's not much data sets, I grant you, but the history would suggest that bonds are actually an attractive opportunity for sure, even when they're raising the interest rates, because you're reinvesting the interest in a higher paying product. That's just a fact. And you can't go bankrupt because bonds are guaranteed. The government bonds are guaranteed to pay at maturity. So let's see. I like bond funds, Jill. So Jill says, "Are we talking about bonds or bond funds?" Yeah, I don't like individual bonds because you're putting too much emphasis on one holding. I don't like that. It's like Ginnie Mae. I still love Ginnie Mae. I don't have it. I have the long-term treasury. I think the long-term Schwab treasury, and do not buy this on me. Hell's bells, dudes. But I have SCHQ because as long-term, the average maturity is over 20 years. The duration is like 18. I don't even know what the yield is. I don't care. But I think the downside is has already been seen. I think there's a lot more short-term upside than a lot of people are recognizing. And it's government bonds. I mean, look, are they going to raise? And I always I don't have the article here. I did it last week or 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago. When I read that article from Phil Graham, they said even if interest rates go back not even to the historical average of the 10-year, that would be the second largest line item in the federal budget after like Social Security and Medicare. There just isn't the capacity to pay for huge increases in interest rates. They're just not. Now, look, anything could happen. I'm just telling you right now. But I sit there and think that's so. In my opinion, you have a pretty significant ceiling on as high the rates are going to go. On top of that, the only reason they raised, I imagine the reason they raised wasn't because I don't think the Fed's stupid enough to think their policies will whip inflation out. I think Bernanke was, frankly. I think Bernanke fell for the Milton Friedman. The contraction, the Great Depression was caused by the contraction of the monetary supply. I think Bernanke fell for that hook, line, and sinker. I think most economists of that time, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, fell under the monetary school, which is University of Chicago and stuff. And look, I like Milton Friedman. I just think at the end of the day, I think it's wrong. The idea of the Great Depression was caused by a contraction of the monetary supply. There's a couple books on that I've read that since have changed my mind. Off the top of my mind, I can't remember. But I don't think that's what caused the Great Depression, at least. In fact, it's interesting. If you look, when they had the most unemployment was when FDR was in office, passing his insane New Deal. Literally, the stock market got killed. That's because heavy leverage. But the depression itself wasn't felt until FDR was well in office. And the reason was because there's insane regulations. Literally putting you in jail if you own gold, for heaven's sake. So anyway, the point being is Bernanke and these guys about 10, 15 years ago were big believers that contraction of the monetary supply caused Great Depression. Thus, how to deal with the pending depression, free up the monetary supply, free up the money. And everyone thought, as I did back then, because I believed it. And I said, well, if it contracts, oh man, am I getting ready to go to sleep? Or I have to go upstairs, my friends. I thought I charged my computer, but it looks like I have to. All right, let me go upstairs. Hang tight, amigos. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get my cord. I'll be right back. I'll be back. Okay. I didn't hear much working out. All right. Anyway, so we all thought that the contraction of monetary supply was what caused the Great Depression, and thus an opening of the monetary supply would save us from a depression, which these guys, Larry Summers, Bernanke, all say that happened. But also everyone said that's going to be inflationary, and it wasn't. It wasn't inflationary in Japan. It wasn't inflationary in the United States. Thus, the idea that opening up the floodgates of money, helicopter Ben Bernanke, and just dumping money on the whole world would inherently be inflationary. It didn't happen. It didn't. And thus you have to say, well, if that didn't happen, maybe we were wrong in the contraction of the monetary supply causing the Great Depression. All right. And on top of that, the government debt is so high now that they literally can't afford to increase the interest rates to whip inflation out. Point being, I don't think Jerome Powell is as stupid as a lot of people make him seem to be. I just don't think he is. And as such, I think they're raising the interest rates for one reason and one reason only, so they can lower them when the economy contracts. And I think that's probably what's happening right now. I absolutely could be wrong, 100%. I mean, he could be that dumb. You know, the Federal Reserve, remember, the Federal Reserve is just a bunch of bankers, dudes. You know, don't forget, Powell worked for, I'm drawing a blank, some very less than honorable firm. He didn't work there long. I forgot what it was, but it's like these guys just, I mean, it's like the Pope. This is what some guy was telling me the other day. He's like, the Pope, who was this guy? Pissed me off. He's like, the Catholics believe the Pope is the second coming of, or Jesus represent Jesus on earth. I said, I've been a Catholic my whole life, and I'm not necessarily the biggest Catholic, scholar there is or apologist, but I've never heard that. He goes, I'm surprised. That's what most Catholics believe. I said, prove it. And he couldn't prove it. And he's like, I said, dude, don't spread that crap, man. Don't do that. If you don't know what the hell you're talking about, just shut your mouth. Anyway, he got really mad. He's like, I've been following you for years. I said, I don't care. If you're going to be spread, bad things about people's religions without knowing what the hell you're talking about, I don't want you on this channel to begin with. Don't be doing that crap. Anyway, so this is the same thing. It's like, so the Pope is just a dude that the Cardinals nominate and vote on, and then he waved the yellow or white smoke or whatever the hell it is, and we got the new Pope. And just magically, he's perfect. He's infallible. It's crazy. Anyway, the same thing with Jerome Powell. Just a banker, dude. Who the hell did he work for? I'm drawing a blank who he worked for. Anyway, so Chicken says, I invest in PDO. They just raised their distribution rate. I'm okay with the leverage. Yeah, well, as long as you're okay with it. I don't like leverage. I'm telling you right now. That's leverage sounds good. And a lot of these guys will buy these double, what's the thing? Short ETFs where they're double and tripling shorting the S&P 500. And just, I forgot what they're called, but I can't remember. But man, I hate when I can't remember. I don't buy those. And the reason is because it's a daily thing. It's not. So basically what it is if I can't remember, the leverage on the S&P 500, short on the S&P 500. The long story short is you're buying this thing. You say the S&P 500 is up 12% over going back to 1922 or whatever the hell it is, 1926. Thus, if I have a triple leverage, 3x the S&P 500, I should be able to get 36%. It doesn't work like that. Don't buy those things, man. It's just it's all a way to separate you from money. Could not agree more, Robert. Religion versus Christianity. Yep, exactly. I agree. All right. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of high yield bond funds right now. I don't even know what the yields have been lately, but I just know the yields on the high yield funds were pretty low, and it's like not worth the risk. If you're going to invest in high yield stuff, you might as well just invest in dividend stocks. That's the way I look at it. Cat food, box wine, and depressant meds. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be epic. 100%. So it's like, why invest in high yield bonds when you could be in stocks? That's the kind of way I look at it. The weird time to jump in. Dead air. Yeah, I had to go get my cord, Denise, because of The computer's running low. All right, so what other things I got in here? Blank wall. Yes, ma'am. All right, so here we go. Not much money is made in the long term, but what's not to say taxes go up and higher, it takes away the small earnings of bonds. Won't they be negative? Yeah, absolutely. Can G Buns call government bonds? I imagine there could be a government bond that could be called. I don't know any of them that exist, but I imagine they could be. I mean, if they're issued with a call date where they have a call opportunity, I don't know any of those exist, but there might be one out there. So the answer to your question, can G bonds, government bonds, be called? I'm going to say no. And again, if there's one out there that can be called, then I will stand corrected. I don't think so. Yeah, taxes always go up 100%. So you can make the same thing on all the other stuff we talked about. I mean, yes, taxes go up and it could take away returns on everything. It could take away returns on your IRA distributions. It could take away returns on your dividends. It could take away returns on long-term capital gains. That doesn't go away. I mean, if you're making investment decisions today based on who is it said, Rick Edelman or something like that said, don't do Roth because they'll get rid of the tax benefits of Roth. I just find that preposterous. And he might not have said that. I might be putting words in his mouth. I don't. It seems like someone has said that. It's like, that's weird to me, man. Like, you're going to say, don't use this awesome thing today because the future, it might not be as awesome. Okay. Especially we have even now with not Obama, what the hell's his name? Biden, and the Democrats running both House. There's no thoughts on eliminating the tax benefits of Roth IRAs. Crazy. In fact, speaking of which, by the way, I was talking to this lady yesterday, and she's in the 12% tax bracket. See, I burned myself. I told you guys, look at that. Doing my food ninja, making some freaking pulled pork, which tastes awesome. Watch my man Salty Cracker, but it's not Salty Cracker. It's Salted Pepper. Louise or the Salted Pepper YouTube channel. That chick kicks ass and take names. I love her. Anyway, so I was making my pulled pork because you could buy one, get one on Boston Butts over at Kroger today. And I was like, oh, man. Anyway, so I pulled it out, and I had these little tongs things of pulling out, and a piece just got on me. Oh, yeah, it's actually, you can see it's kind of, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's swelling, it's not swelling up, but you know what I'm saying? You get blisters on there. It's crazy. That hurt like crap. I forgot what I was saying. Talking about bond funds getting conned, tax rates. Oh, so I was talking to this lady the other day, 12% tax bracket. Her and her husband make, probably $65,000 between them. You know what I'm saying? Gross. And she's doing huge amounts because she's younger and she's trying to do the FIRE thing. And I was like, she's doing like huge amounts into her pre-tax 403B. I said, don't do that, sister. Stop. There's not enough tax benefit of you doing that. Stop it. Anyway, so I said, put it in a freaking, not even a Roth. Put it into a brokerage account. She's in a 12% tax bracket. She's not, there's no way. I always got to qualify. There's probably no way she's ever going to go up to a 22% tax bracket with her current gig. All right. It's not going to happen. All right. 37, 38 years old. Kicking ass, taking names, this lady. Owns her house, no mortgage, 2 kids, doesn't make much money. But this is the way it used to be back in the older days of yonder, where most people they did okay without much money. They just watched what they consumed. Anyway, the point being is like, even if you have any qualified dividends or any capital gains, which you won't if she has Vanguard ETFs, you're not going to pay any tax on that either because you're in a 12% tax bracket. So yes, you don't get the tax deduction on the money going in, but the tax deduction on the money going in is minimal at best because you're in a 12. I mean, literally, when you factor her effective tax rate, it's not even close to 12%. It's not even close to 12%. So don't do that anymore. Put in a brokerage account, ETF, that way you have access to it. If you put into a 403B, you get tax-free, tax deferred. Yeah, you'll save a little bit of tax on the front end, but you ain't saving much because you're such a low tax bracket as it is, and you don't get access to that money until you're 59 and a half. And on the other hand, you can be putting in an ETF that's qualified dividends, VTV or VTI, I don't care which one. And the dividends are tax-free because you're in 12% tax bracket, and there's no capital gains in Vanguard's ETFs. And even if there were, it's all tax-free because you're in a freaking 12% tax bracket. And for that amount of money to grow such a, I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars before it gave enough dividends or capital gains for her to put her above a 12% tax bracket. And she ain't going to be there for a long, long time. And it was crazy. I said, man, all right. So here's my man, Yannick. In my 401k, hey, Dodge and Cox. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dodge and Cox. Is that the income fund? Is that the Dodge and, let's take a gander. Is that the Dodge and Cox income fund? Ooh, by the way, dude, I cannot wait to get my book on inflation. I'm going down these rat holes on inflation. It's rabbit holes. Check this out. Right here. Consumer Price Index 1913. The U.S. BLS began collecting family expenditure data in 1917 and published its first price indices in 1919. Anyway, the data and methods starting in 1913 are considered generally compatible through the present day. Are they? Are they there, BLS or Minnesota Fred? Are they? Because you know what they didn't use back then? Housing. Yes, all the crap you see back before basically 1950s, they didn't use housing. Huh. Which actually I like. I like that you don't use housing and CPI. Those are better numbers. But isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting? So we're going to compare CPI from, we've averaged 3% a year since 1926. What did you not have in 1926? Oh, housing. Oh, yeah, that might change. I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, the Fed maintains a historical table that includes estimates prior to 1913. I freaking love this stuff, dude. I'm weird like that. Average annual CPIU, remember that covers 93% of the workforce. CPIW is only 27%. Let's see, average rate of inflation. Oh, the war. Look at that. Now we got deflation after the war. Low inflation in the 1920s corresponds with the roaring 20s. Low inflation equals high stock returns. High inflation leads to low stock returns. Deflation, I wouldn't say low stock returns and deflation, but certainly bonds look good in deflation. So we got the 20s, stock market kicked ass, took names. We got after World War II to 1966, stock market kicked ass and took names. We got the 1982 to 1999, stock market kicked ass, took names. Then we finally got the four of the four. We got 2009 to 2021, stock market kicked ass and took names because of low inflation. Crazy. You have four instances of this, and everything else is just flat because high inflation or low inflation. Crazy. Anyway, it's fun. I love this stuff. Let's just see what they got here. I want to go back to, are they going to 2020? Yeah, there you go. All right. Hey, get your mask off, fool. Take that damn thing off. I still can't believe people, these flimsy little masks. Woo! I was at my, did I tell you that last night? I didn't. So I was at my hog cutting thing yesterday. And they had these two rainbow people, you know what I'm saying? Rainbows. And they're all masked up. I said, what is it with you guys and masks? Like, what is it? I don't get it, man. Like, you know, there's certain, let's just put it this way, the rainbow people. And I said, well, I don't get why you guys are so adamant on it. It's the weirdest thing. They're so adamant on the jabs and on masks. I don't understand it. I said, do you not know your history, how you guys were lied to by Fauci, and yet somehow he's your king? And then they had a guy in front of me, nice guys, talk to him, big, heavy black guy, real nice guy. And he was all masked up. And his son was right next to him. His son wasn't masked up. But then that was it. So of the 25 people, there were only 3 are masked. 2 rainbows and 1 big black guy. And I was sitting there thinking, why do you guys? Because blacks are very heavy in masks too. In fact, Gwinnett County, one county over, they're going back to mask mandates for school for teachers and administrators this coming semester. I damn well better not happen in Fulton County. Not for students yet. But it's like I'm sitting there thinking, if I'm black and I know what they did with Tuskegee, and I know what they've done with other experiments with Margaret Sangers of the world and stuff like this through the federal government. And I know that I don't want the vax because I know I don't trust these guys as far as I could kick them. Why do I trust the science on masks? I literally don't get that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You guys don't, as rightly so, you shouldn't trust the government or anything, but somehow the science on masks you trust. It's just the weirdest thing in the world to me. Anyway, but whatever. People do whatever they want. I don't care. I find it weird, but that's okay. Anyway, so we're sitting and we're talking, and he's taking his mask off to eat, and then we were just talking. Now I'm sitting probably, I don't know, 2 feet because we're at the same table, and just talking to each other, and with his son right there, and just doesn't have his mask on. So 40% of the time you don't have your mask on, 60% of the time you do, because coronavirus is only going to get you for 60%. It's just the weirdest thing, man. I literally don't understand why the rainbow people are so trusting of a government that hates them. And I know we all think they don't, but they do. Trust me, the government, they anyway. And then on top of that, this guy, black guy, is so trusting on some signs from the government, but not on others. It's just weird to me. And I don't trust the government as far as I kick him for anything. Literally, I don't care. I mean, I also, I don't want to get into other conspiracies, but the government is incompetent. Except in 1969, they did one thing that was very competent. Okay. All right. So let's keep talking here, because I want to go back. I forgot the hell I was talking about. I wanted to go back to how dare you, Josh? How dare you not stay on focus? Oh, I want to go back to my man Dodge and Cox. That's what we wanted to do. I was going to go to portfolio visualizer. I'm not sure how long Dodge and Cox Income Fund has been around for a while. I think it's been around for a while, though. So let's go. My man Salty Cracker was on the Owen Benjamin show the other day. That was classic. Salty Cracker, let's just put it this way. We all doubt that something happened in 1969. It's becoming more and more okay to doubt it in public. It's crazy. It's kind of like when I first started doubting various jabs. This is well before COVID, man. I was like, it's like, because everyone said, how dare you doubt the various jabs? And this is well before COVID. And I just always chuckled. I said, well, show me the evidence, because there isn't any about the evidence. In fact, going back to my man, Dr. Wiley, who I was just telling you guys about to start this whole show, he's the guy who said in Vienna, the reason they got rid of tuberculosis, typhoid, whatever it was because they had a clean water supply and better hygiene. Literally and this is a guy who was a huge pit bull when it came to pushing American Medical Association crap, which of course we know is corrupt as all can be. But anyway, I had a chuckle at that. I said, oh, so here's a guy saying, yeah, man, ever since they had a clean water supply, their levels of tuberculosis went down from 50 to 100,000. I can't remember if he said deaths to 1. Vienna. I said, oh, what else happened in Vienna? Oh, Ignaz Semmelweis. We start cleaning our hands before we deliver babies. Crazy. The midwives in Vienna were delivering babies, no problems at all. The docs delivering babies, many babies and women went to their death. On top of that, my man, Dr. Wiley, said women should not use the bottle. They should breastfeed. I said, whoa, well, there's all right. So I appreciate that. He went to the AMA as a lobbyist, and that's when he sold his soul. My opinion, can't say he did, but anyway, before that, he was righteous. He goes, women should not be using the bottle if they can breastfeed. And I said, dude, that's freaking spot on. I can't believe how many people were using the bottle. Crazy. I guess being raised by a hippie, I never used a bottle. I mean, my mom breastfed me and my brothers and sister. And I don't know about my wife's, but, I remember my mom hated Nestle, hated with a passion Nestle. Probably still does to this day. I haven't asked her for a while, but still it's like hating them because of what they're doing to these women and children in Africa. Hated Nestle. Oh, I could not eat like a Nestle, those Nestle ice cream things. Nope. Never found them in my house, man. Not that we had any sugar anyway. Oh, by the way, did you guys know this? You know what liver is? So I always say, man, I was growing up, we didn't have any beef. We had liver. I did not know this. You all probably did because you're smarter. Liver is literally the liver of either a cow or a pig. I did not know that. I was like, I just thought it was a way you define a piece of meat, liver. It's literally the liver. It's like the kidney. It's the liver of a cow or a pig. So it's at my hog thing yesterday. It's like, he's like, oh yeah, this is the liver. And basically he doesn't throw it away. He grinds it up for someone else, but they don't throw hardly any food, any of the meats away. They even use the ears as a delicatessen, which is disgusting, but whatever. And he mentioned about the liver. I said, whoa, the liver is actually the liver? He goes, oh yeah. I said, so I was growing up as apparently, because I always thought the liver was a poor man's beef, which it was, but it's literally the liver of a cow, a moo cow or a pig. Crazy, huh? All right, so let's keep going. So it's like, oh, now I know why I was eating liver because beef was more expensive. All right, so let's go to my man Dodge and Cox. See, this only goes back to 1985. Let's go to let's go to finance.yahoo.com. As Alyssa's got. Oh yeah, no, we invest in stocks that are resilient and inflate in all the market cycles. So I said, man, just do people buy this stuff? They're resilient. Hey, Yahoo's going to give me a gift just for me, Yahoo. Holy crap. I'm special. A gift for Josh from Yahoo. They really like me. All right, here's Dodge and Cox Income Fund. How long does this guy go back? Actually, I think this might be my man Daniel Kulibert's website, 55e.co spreadsheets. Come on, man. Wow, Yahoo, they really like me. They really do. All right. Goes back to, that's it, 89, 90? Okay, I thought it went back longer than that. All right, so, I mean, we got 94, 99, the typical ones, maybe 2008. Yeah, so that's nothing there. Even here's only, well, I don't know what the year to date is. But right here, 5.2. Yeah, I like Dodge and Cox, man. I've been a big fan of Dodge and Cox for a long, long time. All right. What is it? I keep. Oh, let's actually hold on a sec. Let's go back to. Let's get rid of that. Stop there. We'll go back to Daniel Kuhlbert. I think he might have Dodge and Cox in here. Maybe. Dodge and Cox Balance Fund. Okay, gotcha. Not sure how far that goes back. Let's take a gander. It's only the iShare. Probably don't go back very long. There we go. Hold on, just right there. Ooh, there we go. Oh, sweet. 19. Okay, cool. 1960. This is a good fun to look at. So 1961, I think. Hold on. Let's check a look at the Dodge and Cox Balance Fund. Ooh, let's see what the holdings are on this guy. Finnegan. Finny. He's like, Dad, don't leave me up here with just Pablo. Dodge and Cox Balance Fund. Dad. That's why I'm down here, is to get away from you crazy guys. Dodge and right there. Dodd BX. This guy goes back. Let's take a look at. Can you all? Oh, you don't even see what I'm looking at. Hold on a sec. I'll show you what I'm looking at. This Dodge and Cox Balance Fund. So we know it goes back a while. Dude, 1931. Hot dog. All right, sweet. Let's see what the holdings are. That's fantastic. I hope it's more heavy on bonds than equity holdings. Does it give us a breakdown? Profile. So this goes back almost as long as Wellington, and I just want the freaking stock versus bonds, man. Give me a break. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Portfolio Visualizer. So that's DODBX, all right? Good, so there's a Portfolio Visualizer, DODBX, and down here. Right there, 100. Let's see what we got. Right, let's see. So we're gonna go to exposures right here. All right, there we go. Yeah, all right, cool. It's got some international there. All right, so it's about the same as Wellington. That sucks. Yeah, basically the same as Wellington. I was hoping to be a little bit more bond heavy. All right. Yeah, that sucks. Anyways, that's all right. That doesn't. I mean, but if you're going to use this, might as well just use Wellington, in my opinion. But still, I can call that. All right, let's go. Oh, I was going to show you guys something else here too. Let's just go back to just because while we're talking inflation. I just want to revisit the importance of inflation and the different data sets that we use here. Look, 40% of inflation, CPI, in 1947 and 49 was food. 40%. All right. I mean, it's not 40% now. It's like 15%. Crazy. Hamburger, rib roast, meat, poultry, and fish. All right. So you got apples. And you got housing, 25.7, of which rent was 13%. Gas and electricity. So we got rent was 13%. So we got 2, 4, 8, roughly 10, 12, 16. So you saw 16. Yeah, right. Perfect. So rent is 12, was 13, and 16% was the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I hate to say it, but as you get older, you just don't buy that many household furnishings. We've gone to 2 estate sales in the last couple of weeks, my Chloe and I, and they're not updating their furnishings not that much. I bet your grandparents didn't update their furnishings all that much either. So I mean, look, is this really going to be applicable to you in retirement? I mean, look, I can't say no, but that won't be rent. Why would rent be that? I don't get it, man. I mean, I hate to say it too, but if we look at apparel is 12.6 then. Hell, I don't spend 12.6 on apparel. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 52 years old. I'm still in this prime of my life for the ladies. I still gotta get dressed fancy so the ladies say, "Hi, Josh." Like I'm taking ladies. All right, maybe next time. Right? Transportation, well, hell's bells, man. I mean, I get it. You're gonna be driving back and forth while you're working, like my man Jeremy. But if you're, sitting at home, not going to work anymore, you're not doing all that stuff. Anyway, so what I'm going to do here is just as in medical care gets bigger, I grant you, and we got evidence of that. That's at 8.8% now. All right, but it's not like it's 45%. All right, so the point being, what I'm doing here is I'm saying your real CPI, when you take out stupid things like rent at 13% and some of this other stuff, is a hell of a lot lower than I think you think. So we go to 1951. There's food's 35%. Let's go to 19. I think it goes back right here. Food 28, housing 32. I mean, so we've had a significant housing for many, many years. Isn't that crazy? That's pretty cool, huh? I love that. All right. So anyway, that's CPI. All right. So let's see what kind of comments we got on here. All right. How did the ninja foodie work? Slow cooking something, right? I saw that in your early video. Yeah, I just did a pulled pork. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Smoking would be better, but it's pretty good. Again, Kroger, buy one get one. I'm a freaking coupon kid, man. I mean, hell, I use coupons more than my better half. I got the app for Kroger. Hold on a second. Kroger coupons. Find it. I'll go to Publix or Kroger, whatever have BOGOs. I'm a BOGO kid. I can't find it. Anyway, they call me Sir BOGOs a lot. Yeah, I don't. That's crazy. I literally don't understand that scenario. Andrew says Edelman wants you to stay in debt, not pay off your mortgage. I just don't get it. It's just weird to me, man. It's like one of those things that if you look at where would you rather be? I mean, literally in times of turmoil, you'd rather be less money invested and no debt than more money invested in debt, because the money invested in debt hasn't been it hasn't done anything until you turn it into cash. I mean, it's weird to me. I don't understand. I mean, I get you can look historically and say, well, that just is, I just find that clown world. You're like, dude, historically, do you not know like the United States is one of the best three performers of the last 100 years? Doesn't mean it will be. It's just weird. By the way, do you know India is going to overtake China as the largest country in population next year? I read that today. It's like, damn, I thought it was going to be 2030. I didn't realize it's that close. Did you know the EU has had 2 consecutive years of losses, of losing people? 2 consecutive years. Isn't that interesting for the EU? Now, unfortunately, my friends, I'm going to take you with me here so I can get something to drink because I'm thirsty. And unfortunately, I do not have my free of fluoride water down here. So I'm going to get one of these things, which are fluorinated. And I hate fluoride. And you should too. And you should too. Oh, by the way, just on a side note, as what I was doing today earlier, there's my vacuum seal. You can see it running low on vacuum seal things. And what we do is we take them over here, we put them into the fridge, and you can see I got to load up. I've been cycling through some of this. So here's some buy one, get one free at Publix Day, vacuum sealed chicken thighs. We got some spaghetti leftover spaghetti from last week, which we're freezing. Oh man, oh baby, we got some pork tenderloin that we freeze. So, well, I wouldn't say we, I do. My wife's like, whatever, dude. My wife just says whatever. And I'll just, while I'm down here, I'll show you this one. I'm at it here because I don't come to the base that much anymore. I'm going to start doing it though. And here's our supplies of freeze dried foods and stuff, as you can see. And we got some pretty good supplies down there. And some water, some freeze dried foods. Just say some Spam. Got lots of coffee. Look at all that coffee, because coffee is a luxury. My alcohol, which I don't drink, is up there. Alcohol, which I don't drink. None of us do. Lots of ramen. Lots of Spam. Some water. So you get these. You just got to find sales, man. It's like this right here. Yeah, we got these. Hell, I got these, I think, at Aldi. Like freaking buy 10 for $5 or something like that. And they're good till 6/24/2023. I'll tell you, if you think they're bad by 2023, you're crazy. We did throw one out today. I didn't like to do that. My wife said we should, but I was like, all right. It expired 3 years ago as a chili or baked beans or something like that. I don't like doing that, but 3 years beyond expiration is probably long enough. Anyway, so that's and I'm never satisfied with my savings of freeze dry stuff. So we got the fridge going on there. Obviously, the fridge needs electricity in which to run, which is why we have the solar panels upstairs and the batteries. And I forgot to do my experiment. All right, I got to do that. On how long it takes to charge a 12-volt battery with a solar panel. I forgot to do that. But anyway, and then we got some, obviously, some inverter generators. We also have a couple smaller solar batteries that are run off solar panels. Pretty easy plug and play, but they're not very big batteries. I mean, only 300 watts. That's not going to, I don't think 300 watts would run that. It won't run that guy. I think that guy's, when the compressor's kicking on, I think he's 800 watts. So that 300 watt would never do it. Anyway, all right, let's keep going on, man. Yeah, dude, right there. I tell you, those brokerage accounts are fantastic, Vaughn. Just like I was talking about with that lady, I said, brokerage accounts where it's at. The money's there when you need it. I wonder how many. Oh, speaking of which, if anyone wants to do this, I don't like GoFundMe, but there's a lady who works at Goodwill who's been doing it for years. These people are doing God's work, man. Going to people's houses, helping them fill out stuff. In terms of getting it's just freaking not making crap for money, working hard, and somebody's dealing with some kind of people who aren't there. You know what I'm saying? And just it's and even some kind of hostile environments. If anyone wants to start a fundraiser on the Christian version of GoFundMe, and I forgot what it's called, let me know so I can promote. I don't want to do it, but just let me know because I'd like to raise some money for this lady, if that makes sense. Because I just there's so many people doing so many good things out there who aren't rewarded financially the way we are, and you're sitting there thinking, it's just like I don't even want to say we're blessed because everyone's blessed, but it doesn't seem. Yeah, it's just I was talking to my wife. I said, these guys got they give $100 million to put their name on a stupid college, yet they got their own people out there who are just don't have. What I'm saying? It's like just they need help, And I just I don't get it. Like I'm gonna put my name. I'm gonna be the Bill Gates College of Technology of Vaccinations over at University of Washington. And I'm just picking on Gates. It doesn't matter. But I'm just it's like, dude, why not give it to Goodwill? Goodwill's a legit it's not one of the bad ones. Goodwill's one of the good ones. And it's not Girl Scouts, you know what I'm saying? Goodwill's a good one. And anyway, so if someone wants to do that, create the version of GoFundMe that's legit, let me know. I'll promote it. All right. I wonder how many advisors allow her to go that way all along. Good for you. The country is going to need more advisors like you. Oh, I guess we're talking about that lady. Okay, gotcha. I've heard for years on conservative podcasts, the government's been salivating. It's crazy, man. Conservatives can do the same fear mongering the left can do. I don't know if y'all saw that Ryan Long video where it's a right-wing fundraiser and a left-wing fundraiser. It's literally like I got an email from Ted Cruz today. I'm losing. I'm way behind. And I just it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. I get all these emails from these guys. I got on some list. They're like, they're going to take over the country. They're going to come and abort your children. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So we've heard for a million times a Sunday, the conservatives say the government's going to take over people's 401ks. The liberals say, freaking what's the name? Mitch McConnell's going to take away your Medicare. Yeah, I don't think it. I mean, look, at this stage, who knows? Warnock's got a boatload of ads. That's just a fact. I don't watch that much TV, but my wife has it on while we're cooking for background noise. And he's got good ads. I'm not gonna lie, his ads are actually pretty good. They make him seem like a nice guy. And Walker doesn't have that many ads, and Walker's ads are pretty boring. Not gonna lie to you. Tim Scott is now out here at ads for Herschel Walker, but it's just Walker stuff it's typical Republican stuff. And we're gonna back the blue, okay. We need a strong national defense, okay, and some other thing like I don't know. I think it's got to be more primal. You know what I'm saying? And then the Democrats are good at their primal ads. Like there's like the guy not running, so Stacey Abrams run against Kemp. So the Democrats are able to hire some cop who says, Brian Kemp is not, gun rights. It's criminal gun rights. I mean, and, it's stupid, but it's primal. You know what I'm saying? It goes to, I don't say it goes to fear, but it goes to what the Democrat base, what salivates at. And Herschel Walker needs to be better at that, man. You know what I'm saying? His ads are just milquetoast, which is pretty typical for Republicans. And now, unfortunately, it sounds like Herschel Walker has hired some, Republican consultants to steal money from him. And there's a good ad that wasn't Warnock, is a guy who did it on behalf of Warnock. Some veteran out there saying Herschel Walker stole money from me or something like that. And it's like, it's a good ad because you're like, oh man, it's not good. It's all bullcrap, but but there's nothing. Herschel Walker's ad is like, I love Georgia. I love the United States. Back to blue, build a strong defense, and something else. And it's like, we can all be free. It's like, oh God, platitudes, man, platitudes. And the Republicans don't have the ability for platitudes. This is what drives you crazy. Everyone is against the Republican Party. Everyone. And so the Republican Party, they don't have the ability to just kind of squeak in. I mean, I know some will, you know what I'm saying, but if you're in a purple place, you've got to get your base fired up. You cannot be milquetoast in a purple place, especially if you're on the outside looking in. You got to get people energized, man. The Democrats are good at this. I mean, Biden's saying to blacks, Mitt Romney's going to put y'all back in chains. The same guy, by the way, who 20 years previously said Delaware supported the South. You know what I'm saying? He's because Delaware is the last state to get rid of slavery. He goes, we support the South in the Civil War. And it's like, wait, so this, I mean, it's insane. But, you know, the media doesn't hold them accountable for it. They never will. So the Republicans, they need to do stuff like that too. Yeah, you might be held accountable. So yeah, damn right, I can get my base fired up. It's insane. And this is my one thing with Herschel Walker I didn't like. And I voted for him in the primary, but his name alone is again primal. It's like you got to go to the what's in the gut, man. Like what is it? And that's what's his name up in Virginia did. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem. I didn't think he was going to do it. He didn't go at it, but he did. You know, about the school stuff, and that's what Herschel Walker needs to be doing. And you know, again, it's still early, but we'll see. I didn't realize. When do I think it's time to sell bonds and switch to index funds? Bonds can be index funds, so I assume you're meaning sell bonds and switch to stock funds. I guess you didn't see this whole video, so I'm not going to answer that. All right. Yeah, but it's nasty, dude. Liver's nasty. Ugh. Ugh. I didn't know liver's actual liver. That's crazy. Rex Kwando. Break the wrist and walk away. Break the wrist and walk away. I am on Rumble, Jeremy. Where you at, dog? Because Jeremy thinks he's too cool for Rumble now. Right. Oh, liver. I mean, I don't know, dudes. Maybe I just because growing up, it's like tofu. My mom used to make this tofu pizza and hot dog soup right before Halloween. Tofu pizza, friggin' disgusting. And we used to go to this hippie organic spice place up in Portland before they gentrified it. The Good Egg, something like that. Good, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, in the early 70s. And I remember going there and smelling all these spices. And I was like, man, I just want sugar. Anything with sugar in it, because we didn't have any. And we'd go to these spices and she'd buy all these, you know, hippie stuff, spices and stuff. And I don't know if she'd buy tofu or she'd buy the soybeans for the tofu. I don't know. But man, my mom would make a killer homemade spaghetti. Oh, dude, I would kill to have some of that homemade spaghetti. I mean, tomatoes from the garden, you know, green peppers from the garden. Oh, dude, it was killer. And then we had Mr. Peterson next door as a lobsterman. And this is, you know, I was real young, but every now and again, he'd have some leftover lobsters and he'd give to my mom. And probably 3 times in my life. So it's not every now and again, not like once a year or anything like that. And I said, man, my mom would say, we got lobsters. And I was like, oh, I didn't like lobster. I said, man, I just want beef. Beef is all I want. And she'd be like, you don't understand. I said, Mom, I don't care what other people want. I want beef, hamburger, and steak. And I'd say, hey, Rex, thanks for $10, man. Hey, right on. You're a good man, Rex. I don't care what they say. But anyway, so we go to my grandpa's house in California. I'm sure I told this to you. And we're eating steak. And the only time I always want ketchup or we didn't have A1, but Worcester something, because liver, I hated it. And so you had to have some kind of addition to it. So it'd be ketchup, or if we ever had A1 or Worcestershire sauce. So I asked Grandpa, I said, hey, do you have any ketchup? He goes, why? I said, for the steak. And he threw a fit. He's like, do you not know how hard it was? We didn't have any meat growing up. You think we would have ruined meat with ketchup? Are you insane? And I'm thinking, you know, meat to me is liver. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's different generational clash. Because, you know, he grew up during the Great Depression. He's like, and he was pissed. I was like, whoa, okay, I won't do that again. And, you know, he's German, so he made sauerkraut, which I couldn't stand. Oh, so nasty. And then one time, Charlotte and I went up to see him in California. And Grampy had made his sauerkraut. and I can't stand sauerkraut. And Charlotte doesn't like sauerkraut. And they had a Coke, this 16-ounce or 12-ounce can of Coke, and they split it between Grammy, Grampy, me, and Char. We split one 12-ounce can of Coke. And a sauerkraut. I think it might have been hot dog. I can't remember. I was like, oh, okay. And I said, I didn't want to ask Grampy for another Coke because I remember, like, when I was a little kid, when he blew up at me for asking for ketchup. I was like, okay. When I was a kid, this is the only time I went to California. When I was a kid, he took me to, I think me and my brother, we went to the Giants game at Candlestick. And I'm thinking we're going to get like, cinnamon rolls and all that stuff. And nope, Grampy he took with him peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He brought with him in the arena, and then carrot, just chopped up carrots. I'm like, where's the junk food? We're at a baseball game, man. Can we get some junk food? Nope. Chopped up carrots and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It's like, man, this sucks. Oh my goodness, those old farts, man, it cracks you up. I'll never forget. And then my grandma, when they come to Maine, then Grandpa would take us to Denny's. That was like such a treat. So he'd stay at the Holiday Inn. My Grammy and Grandpa would stay at the Holiday Inn in Portland. We lived on Peace Island, and the Holiday Inn had this little indoor pool. I think it's still up there, Holiday Inn. Anyways, but it was right downtown, and it was like a treat for us. Like, holy crap, we're staying at the Holiday Inn. They even have a pool. Even though we lived on an island, we're like, even though it's like the summertime, we're like, we're gonna stay at the Holiday Inn with Grampy and Grammy. They got a pool. It's like the best thing ever, and the pool is nasty, I'm sure. But anyway, so we stayed at the Holiday Inn, just swim in that pool. Like, I'd swim forever, so I don't want to ever leave the pool because like the water is warm and it's just crazy, man. But anyway, he'd also take us to Denny's, which was a treat. Get the Grand Slam, whatever that was called. But I look over and Grammy's taking like the biscuits and put them in her purse, and then the little things of jam, and she's putting them into her purse. As I said, Mom, what's Grammy doing? She goes, oh, she does like to see any food go to waste. I said, man, all right, that's crazy. Excuse me. So those are the days, man. Those are the days. Yeah, I'm a big fan of American funds. Oh, World Bond Fund. Yeah, I don't like World Bonds. I'm American, baby. I'm an American patriot, American nationalist. Give me America, give me death. I don't want any international stuff. None. That's just for me. I don't want any international. Get pizza. For pizza, get uni oven and get a uni oven. What the hell's an uni oven? And buy or the Yannick, you're drinking again, brother. I can't understand a word you're saying. I'm just goofing you. I can't read what you're saying, man. But that sounds interesting. Right? My man's got 10 million in jewelry and gemstone last. Whoa. Well, can I retire in my 40s if I eat carrot sticks and peanut butter and sandwiches as a oh man. With liver you make pate? 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 I don't even know. It's pretty tasting great with I love sourdough bread. You guys ever do your own sourdough, your own yeast, where you make your own sourdough with just the culture? Pretty fun. It's worked a couple times for me. Not that great. I love bread, dude. Not gonna lie to you. But it's so high in carbs. That's one of the things about these guys. They're stupid. And I like, low carb diets, but it's like, they didn't do this back in the old days. And like, people ate bread all the time. What are you talking about, man? Like back in the primitive days, I was like, okay, but I never understood this desire to say we got to eat like they did back in the primitive time. Like, why? Well, they didn't have diseases. I was like, well, A, we don't know that, but B, it's like, why would you deny yourself of bread just because the caveman did? It's just, I've never understood this not primordial soup, but whatever that is, eating. It's like, okay. I mean, I get the anti-sugar, 100%, and, try to watch the carbs, but man, homemade sourdough bread just with all kinds of freaking butter, dude. Oh my god! Oh yes, at the hog place. So there's they just got it from Publix, but it's homemade. I mean, it's not homemade, but it was made this morning. You dip that sourdough bread with the pork juices. You load up butter on there, dude. You would have to be as a masochist when you hurt yourself. I don't know what's called, masochist or sadist. I guess a masochist. Not to enjoy this big thing of butter, heat a big thing of sourdough bread, toasted, heaped with butter, dipped into this hog juice. Oh man, dude, you gotta be kidding me. Government cheese, turtle soup. Yeah, turtle soup. But remember government cheese like it was yesterday and powdered milk, 1%. All right, here's no, dude. Well, I don't know what Ginny Mae's going to catch up, but you invested it at the turn of last year, and you're really asking this question. Jeez. Ugh. Look at my man F. Herrick. He put 20,000 in each. 6 months later, when's the Ginny Mae going to catch up? Oh, dude. Oh. Oh, French dip, yeah, dude. 100%. I think my man F. Herrick is chasing here. So I think what he's looking for here is I think he's looking for something that hasn't lost money and he can get out of something in order to make more money. And he's thinking, I might go international bonds because Ginny Mae isn't doing anything or someone else isn't doing it. Dude, you're not, this isn't investing. This is speculation. Don't do that to yourself. Why do this to yourself, people? I don't get, it's like the markets are the markets. You get a good solid portfolio, just roll with it. Well, I don't get like I'm going to go over here and go over there because that fund's better, that fund's worth. It's just so boring, so flipping boring. You're never going to freaking win doing that. And just go back to Davis New York Venture. I've said this 1,000 times on the channel. I'll say it another 1,000 times as long as YouTube will let me share crop off their land. Chris Davis used to run the Davis New York Venture Fund. I don't know if he still does or not. I love Davis New York Venture Fund. I don't own it, but I don't think I ever did. But I'm a big fan. He said every good portfolio manager is going to have at least 3 years consecutively where he looks like the biggest idiot since mankind. And I remember he said that like in 2004, 2005. And I remember reading that thinking, man, that's spot on. If you're thinking that your portfolio has always got to be the best, always have to have the best stuff, always has to, you're always going to have something that's on the down or down relative to other things. Who gives a rat's behind? Who cares? Is the stuff good? Yes. Is it cheap? Yes. Okay. I mean, we debating 6 months time frame, dude. Just why are you doing that to yourself? I don't even know what the markets did. Actually, I do because I just checked kind of right before this. The markets were way up on Friday. I don't even know what my portfolio did. I don't care. I literally don't care. I have fun with my bond fund. It's kind of fun to stick it to people who say bonds are going to die. Next, I don't think they're gonna, but they might be right. I don't know. Who gives a rat's behind? 6 months don't mean crap. My goodness, people. I'm not most of you guys, but just stop with it. Oh, jeez Louise. Oh yeah, I don't drink. Sourdough bread is easier to digest. Keeping a starter is not. Yeah, 100%, man. That's right, Yannick. Yeah, there's a guy on YouTube. I forgot how I loved it, but he keeps one in his fridge. Fantastic. All right. So someone said, do I drink? I do not drink anymore. If I did, man, I could tear up some Sierra Nevada Porter. Could tear up some Guinness Stout. Some freaking Sierra Nevada Porter with a freaking well done ribeye. I mean, not well done ribeye, a medium rare ribeye with a baked potato with freaking juices flowing onto that baked potato from that well done medium rare ribeye. They had some chocolate brew yesterday. It was a chocolate. I forgot the other flavor, chocolate caramel or something like that. I said, oh, if I was a drinking man, I'd kill for the chocolate caramel. I can't remember what it was. Beer. I was like, dude, I don't want to be drinking. I don't drink, but man, I don't look. I have no desire I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna sneak one in the bathroom. No, I'm not like that at all. But man, a Sierra Nevada porter with a medium rare ribeye with a baked potato just flush with sour cream, cheese, butter. Dude, when I was in Ranger school, so you don't eat anything. And I didn't pass, just FYI. Just I want everybody to know I'm not a Ranger. I made it halfway, and I did not have the skill set. Very eager to admit that. But I still went halfway, and you don't eat anything. I mean, a little bit. And it's crazy when you're hungry how much you just like when you're. I don't know if y'all ever saw the Eddie Murphy Raw thing where he's talking about the Ethiopian and like a Ritz cracker or something like that. So anyway, sitting there, I'll never forget. I was doing this land nav thing, and I was always pretty good at land nav, which is good, which is weird because I don't have a good sense of direction. But it's a night land nav course. I think it's the last thing you do before you have to get recycled or you go on to the next phase. I can't remember, but I just this is what 88, 89, 90, 1990. Anyway, so it's the last thing you haven't eaten. This is the bedding phase, and this is my second time going through the bedding phase. I'm just like, dude, this sucks donkey balls. If I don't pass this, I'm just quitting. I said I can't do this again because the bedding phase sucks. But anyway, so I'm doing the land nav, and you're just starving. It's nothing but you don't eat. You work hard. You run. You do all this crap. It just sucks, dude. And it literally sucks. And anyway, so the land is the last thing. And I had one. It's the fruit cake from the MRE. And I was starving. It's like 3 a.m. I'm coming down from my land nav, and I flew through. I was like, damn, I did that pretty well. Surprised. Because again, I'm not cut out for this stuff. I'm an infantryman. I'm not good at it. Anyway, so I'll never forget. I'm coming back, and I got to walk like 10 clicks to get back to wherever the hell we're meeting. I can't remember. So I just remember I'm walking, and I find my way to this road in Benning, and I'm not even going through the woods anymore. So, oh, sweet. And I'm thinking, I hope I'm going the right way. But I knew I was. But anyway, long story short, I touched in my side pocket, the cargo pocket, my BDUs. I had a half of a fruit cake in my MREs, and I said, "Holy crap, holy!" I said, "I did not know I had that." I pulled it out, and it's like the heavens opened up. I took a bite, and I said, "Oh, where have you been all my life?" It was like the best thing I ever had in my life. And I'll never eat another one because they're freaking nasty. I'll never forget that, man. The best thing I ever had in my life. And then you go up to Dahlonega, go up to the mountain phase, and I had to do that twice because I'm not good at this stuff. And you're doing your mission, you're starving up there, and you're the last mission, you come back before they recycle you again. But some people go forward into I think the next stage was Florida. I never went to Florida, but not me. So like, Scanlon, you need to stay back again. That's what I said. I'm done here. I'm out. Anyway, so I've never. But anyway, they had this like a medic or something like that set up, and he's got this like lukewarm coffee and a little Debbie snack cake. And I just never forget coming down this mountain in Dahlonega, and some guy sitting on the side here with his lukewarm coffee and his little Debbie snack cakes. And I never drank coffee ever in my life until then. And I took that lukewarm with no cream or nothing. Heavens opened up. I said, "Oh," had that with a little Debbie snack cake. It was like, dude, it's like heavens open up. Anyway, so then you get back to wherever the hell it was in the barracks, or wherever it was in Dahlonega. They say, all right, these are what happened. They do this thing to see who goes forward or not. And I already knew I wasn't going forward. And so I was like, it's not like not special forces, the Navy SEALs where you ring a bell. It's not anything like that. Dude, I'm such a shit sandwich, pardon my French. I just went up to the next day. I said, do I want to do this again? This is my 5th class, twice in Benning. This is my 3rd one to Dahlonega. And I said, I don't. I just went to the RI. I said, I'm done. He goes, what? You're going to quit? That's called the lack of motivation. You'll never be able to come back ever again. I said, I don't care. I said, I'm done here. He said, they kind of, and it's funny. The minute you say that, they're like nice to you. They're like, all right. Like, what? I thought you were going to yell at me and scream. And he goes, no, dude, it's fine. Just leave. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, really? It's okay. It's just funny, man. But I'll never forget. And so anyway, going back to liver, I guarantee you'd love liver if you were freaking, if you were starving Marvin. I'd be like, dude, feed me liver. Yeah, look, American Mutual, Growth Fund America, American Mutual. My favorite American fund is the Income Fund of America. I'm a fan of American funds. Always have been. I hope the guy isn't all mad at me for busting gut there on not caring about Ginnie Mae versus I bonds. I don't know. I had a number of people gripe about Ginnie Mae who shouldn't be griping about Ginnie Mae, who should know better over the last couple months. And frankly, it pisses me off. Not gonna lie to you. I'm like, dude, what? I'm just like, you're literally judging over 3 to 6 months. It pisses me off. So when I hear Ginnie Mae and people gripe about Ginnie Mae, no one buys Ginnie Mae unless they have some experience either through me or they know it themselves. And not very many people know. So when I hear people gripe about Ginnie Mae, I just like, it's a sign of it's offensive to me because, and it's okay, it's me, my own weakness, but it's like I just sit there and think, why do you hear then? If I recommend, and I don't recommend it to anybody, but if I am saying I like Ginnie Mae and people buy Ginnie Mae, and after a couple months they're like, what other fund should I invest in? Like, I mean, I'm like, dude, why would you listen to anything I say? It doesn't make sense to me, man. Like, all right. I mean, if someone told me to buy Bitcoin at 65,000, now it's down to 18. I'm like, what should I buy instead? I'm like, so you're telling me you took my advice at Bitcoin at 65, now it's down to 18, where the hell is that? And now you want to find out what you should do instead? Be like, what you should do instead is hang in there. I mean, I don't think anyone should buy Bitcoin, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's just weird to me, man. Especially when I'm like, lots of bond funds. In fact, I think every bond fund is down pretty significantly this year. There's still an Italian bakery with the old brick oven that makes the world's best focaccia pizza. Fresh daily and large cookie sheet. Size to Millers Park, Illinois. That sounds good. No idea, man. My man says it would be better to buy S&P, the Qs. I mean, if you're going to sell calls, you want the most volatile thing, which is probably going to be the Qs. Pen, I don't even know what the hell that is, man. Is that a wine? Pinot Noir? I went to Red Lobster today and had lobster, crab, shrimp, and scampi. Lots of butter. Yeah, butter kicks ass. Four years cash retired, my man Dan. There you go, brother. Dan, you're good. I don't care what they say. I retired 5 years ago. Just started last year with I-bonds. Well, is that it, man? Well, what else we got here? I put my whole wealth into a Bitcoin. Where's my man? Right there. Right there. Bitcoin thing. I put all my money is in Bitcoin. It's literally not. Just joking. The down market's no fun for those that are still working. Yeah, 100%. That's I cannot agree more than Brad. If you're still working, you just keep dumping money into your freaking funds. I completely agree. There's no better mousetrap, my friends. If you're still working, that's what I'm doing. I'm still putting money in VTI every week. I put $1,000 in VTI every week, every 2 weeks, excuse me. $1,000 a month, week, every 2 weeks in VTI. Boink, 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 boink. I have no clue what it's doing. Don't care. I literally could care less. If I'm retired, 4 years cash, the rest in stocks. If you're aggressive enough, 4 years cash, the rest in Wellington fund if you want. Or if you're more conservative, 4 years cash, the rest in Wellesley. It's literally that simple. There's, in my opinion, there's three options in retirement. 4 years cash, Wellesley. 4 years cash, Wellington. 4 years cash, VTI. Done. You say, okay, I need money this year. I need $50,000. My VTI is up, I'm taking from VTI. My VTI is down, I'm taking it from cash. And then I don't pay attention. There's nothing to do. I mean, it's literally, what else are you going to do? Well, Josh, I think, no. Like Lou Kaiser used to say, don't just do something, sit there. Don't just do something, sit there. That's what you got to do, man. Just sit there. There's nothing to do. There's no better mousetrap. You can't beat the market. Stop it. If you're trying to avoid losses, then you shouldn't be investing in stocks to begin with. Hell, in bonds either. Just hang tight. 4 years cash in retirement, Wellington, Wellesley, or VTI. One of those three things. Done, 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 done. And never look at it again. But I get nervous because everyone says they're going to take my 401k. It's just like, okay. I hate to say it, if they're going to take your 401k, you worrying about it ain't going to do a thing about it anyway. And if you're still building wealth, VTI, whatever, I don't care what it is, just plug. Yeah, I think about it too. I think all the time, I was like, man, because I got debt. I'm still sitting there thinking, one of these days I should just take my money out and pay off my debt. I can't do that right now. I don't have enough of assets to pay off my mortgage. Once I do, I'll probably do that, frankly. I probably won't. I always say I will, but I probably won't. Because my goal is 5 more years here, sell the house, downsize, you know what I'm saying? And then I won't have a mortgage and I'll have my portfolio. I always say I'll probably just pay off my mortgage, but if that left me with little money, I doubt I will. So I got 5 more years. Every month I'm paying an extra $1,500 on the principal. So I figure 1,500. I mean, this will be paid off. My goal is to have this sucker paid off in 5 years. So an extra $1,500 over 60. Yeah, it's $90,000 there plus my regular amortization. I'll be pretty doggone close to having this paid off in 5 years, if that makes sense. And as such, it might not be all the way paid off, but I'll have a boatload of equity in here, and then I just sell the house on downsize. I was just looking at my when we went to this estate sale, saw some nice little 3-bed, 2.5 bath, single ranch house. I said, I told Chloe, so that's a perfect retirement home. Big fat backyard for the dogs to run around in. I still want a pool, 3 beds, 2 baths, maybe 2.5 baths. You know what I'm saying? 2-car garage. Don't need much more. Flat piece of land to have my garden. Hook up some solar panels on the south facing roof. All good, man. All good. Cheap real estate taxes because I won't be in Fulton County anymore. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need much more than that. Get my I'm 52 now. So I get Social Security in 15 or so years. So I need 15 years, if that makes sense, to I got to get by for 15 years. Then once I'm on Social Security, I'll get, roughly between Charlotte and me, $4,500 a month in today's numbers. That's $54,000 a year. No debt, lower real estate tax, no property, lower auto insurance because no kids are on there. I mean, yeah, is that gonna be enough? No, probably not. It'd be nice to have, $500,000 in a 401 in a VTI. And Roth. I don't want to have any traditional IRAs at that point. Let's just add 500,000. I take $5,000, 5% a year. That's $25,000 a year on top of my 54,000 Social Security. That's $75,000 a year, man, with no debt. That's the hell's bells. Who can't live like that? I know I could. So I got 15 years, $500,000, no debt. Dudes. Easy. And it's not easy, but I'm just saying it's an easy plan. It's not easy to get there. But Josh, I'm not going to have $500,000. All right, so you got 250,000. That's 12,500 on top of 54,000 Social Security. That's 66,000 a year. That's $5,500 a month. No debt. Oh yeah. Oh, Ken, trust me, Ken. We've talked about this a lot. We know. She knows what my plan is, and she said, she knows. We've talked about it. God, what I'm saying. I don't know what that's like, Dan. I can't wait. It's actually funny, Brad. So we're talking today over dinner, and yeah. How about okay. All right, so there's something called duration. Duration is if the price of the bond will drop, if the interest rates go up by 1 full percentage point, the price of the bond will drop by the duration. So if duration is 10 and interest rates go up by 2%, the bond will drop by 20%. On the other hand, if interest rates go down by 2%, the price of the bond will go up by 20%. It's called duration. There's no real average maturity statistic. It's actually duration is what you're looking for. Anyway, so Brad, we're talking, my wife and me and Chloe and Liam, and just about some of the pissing we used to do at each other. So one time when we lived in Phoenix, this before we were married, we had our house. I guess we were married by then, and we had a dog named Stout, and Stout was kind of like Pablo, actually, a little bit bigger, but kind of like Pablo. And Stout had some serious diarrhea, dude, and he was pooping out of his like. Dude, it was coming out like a freaking like a rocket ship. It was going up against the wall and everything in the kitchen. And my wife was in, it was like her company was a big mutual fund company because she used to be on the bond. She was a bond analyst for the junk bond fund. Anyway, she was at this big, they had I don't know, like the freaking the Eagles or something like that, some show they had at the some corporate event for the company. And she's out there getting drunk with her friends, Melissa, who I like a lot. But anyway, it's just funny. And she calls, she's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was pissed because I was like literally on my hands and knees in like a knee, like freaking a quarter inch of water and poop that was up on the wall, scrubbing the wall from Stout's poop. And she calls me all drunk, like, "Hey, having fun. What are you doing?" And I was like, freaking wiping up this poop. Anyway, and it's just reminiscing about some of our sniping at each other. As you get older, you just get chill, man. It was just that simple because you've seen it all before. You've heard all the scare tactics. Not saying the commies can't come, but it's just like most stuff you realize it's just all fake. You just like, you just get chill. As I get older, and it's funny because Chloe said, "Dad, I'm surprised because you're pretty chill." So I am now. I wasn't back then, and I just, when you're young and dumb and full of something, you just think, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but as you get older, you realize, water under the bridge, man. We've been through this before. We've seen this before. Just water under the bridge, and that's why retirees are happy. They're content. They recognize all the stuff that used to scare them. Very little of it came to fruition, and they might not have $1 million, but they're like, "I'm getting by. I'm doing okay." I truly believe that's why most retirees are content, not because they're living like friggin' Ivana Trump with her Botox, but because they're friggin' just like, it's okay. I got 3-bed, 2-bed house. I got my dogs, got my garden. I got my wife, by my side. We take trips as we need, and we just chill, man. It's tough way to be. It's relaxing, chilling. Biden's not going to get you. Trump's not going to get you. Antifa's not going to get you. Proud Boys aren't going to get you. No one's going to get you. You're not going to get shot in the street. I know some people do. It's not going to be you. You're more likely to get killed on the highway driving to work. There's no AR-15 that's sitting there right now plotting on how to shoot up a school. It's not happening because an AR-15 is like a calculator. It literally has no emotions. It just sits there. I mean, it literally, how dare you, calculator? How dare you give me bad information? Calculator is like, dude, I'm an inanimate object. I literally can't do anything. I have no thoughts. I have no opinions on the matter. Here's a cup. I could use this to crack my head wide open, or I could use it to drink tea. The cup doesn't know, doesn't care, has no thoughts on it. It's an inanimate object. There's no AR-15 right now sitting there plotting. How can I get out of this room in Josh Scanlon's basement and go out there and really do devastation on the world? It doesn't work like that. No, there's lots to be worried about, but it's just like, what are you going to do about it? Just chill. Take a deep breath. Actually, we're talking too about the whole thing with COVID, Charlotte and I said, because I've been anti-vax for a long, long time. And she hasn't been. She's actually been, we always get arguments about the flu vax. I don't take it. I don't think my kid should take it. She agrees with that now. So I won. But, before she's like, "Why, I can't hurt." I said, "Well, you don't know that, babes. We don't know the studies on this." You know what I'm saying? Because there's no studies that show safe relative to all the other crap we have. That combined, we don't know. We just don't know. You have all these 30 vaccines that the CDC recommends. We have no clue if they're okay in conjunction. We just don't. There's no evidence. I don't know. No one has any idea about the flu vax, nothing like that. Anyway, long story short, so we every year we argue about that. No more, because what they've done is it's just such a clown show. Anyway, long story short is what we're talking about. We're talking about today about how we So why do you think we didn't fall for the COVID scandemic? And she said, I just think because we have faith in God. I said, what do you mean by that? She goes, well, I just think when you realize you have faith, it's kind of like when it's your time, it's your time. And I said, so it wasn't because my anti-vax stance? She goes, no. I said, oh, I thought I was going to convince you because I was anti-vax before COVID. I said, what? And even though I've been vaxxed a million times, my kids unfortunately have all been vaxxed. I wish I would have known in hindsight, but either way, it is what it is. I said, so it wasn't me, huh? She goes, no, I just think it's because you can see it. You're like, this doesn't make any sense, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not seeing bodies in the street. We're not seeing people piling up. And she said a couple other things. I said, she's like, this is crazy. And ultimately, though, it's because we have faith. Like when it's your time, it's your time. Not much you can do about it. You can protect yourself the best you can. But then she goes, these flimsy little masks aren't going to do it, though. And that's what I think that was a breaking point for her. She was never going to get it because she goes, look, I'm healthy. I don't need it, for the jabs. But it's actually kind of funny how she's come around full circle in that, because I was adamant anti-flu vax. And she's like, nope, we're getting, and I'm going to lose that because I said, look, man, if it makes you more happy to get it, because we have a couple kids that have pretty significant allergies and asthma and stuff. And she's like, I'm worried that, if we don't get it, they might get real bad flu. All right, whatever makes you happy, sister. All right. Yeah, I know that. I know that. All right. Older friend survived cancer. Yeah, 100%, man. Just read Lazarus Laughed. Lazarus Laughed, man. Y'all read that. You're like, it's like literally Lazarus. Remember Lazarus. He comes back like, Lazarus, why are you smiling after all you've been through? He goes, because I seen the other side and it's all good in the hood. Oh, yeah, dude. There you go. Dude, I tell you, Dan, that is no doubt, no joke. The TV, Facebook, obviously YouTube is full of trolls that are like, trolls, negative Nellies. Like you see my feed. I'm like, I don't even know, like, what the hell? Like, I don't want to see. Yeah, it's like, I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but it's just like, ugh. The reason you can take your mask off to eat is COVID stops that way. That's good. Marion, no, I haven't seen you around these parts, man. Good stuff. That's a good one, man. Boy. The reason COVID stops, COVID said, oh, only go 3 feet high. Brad says the former director of our company retired 2 years ago to live the good life. Just, oh, man. What happened to him, Brad? What happened to him? That's sad. Yes. Say a quick prayer for those who are suffering, because there are people suffering. I don't mean to laugh. Dear Heavenly Father, there are people who are living in panic and fear. Please forgive me for mocking these people. I don't mean to. Please forgive me. I want to be better steward of what you've given me, and mocking is not good to worship you. And I just ask for forgiveness. I do pray for those people who are living in this fear of the world you've provided for us. And I just think it's because they don't have, I don't want to say don't have faith, Lord, but they overvalue this realm as opposed to the realm that awaits us. And I don't want to make judgments. I just need guidance, Lord, how to not to mock, but to also encourage people, say, look, we're in the best of hands. We're literally in the hands of the creator of all things. And I just pray for guidance, for forgiveness. And I just pray for those people who are worried, who are sick with fear. Oh, man, may you send the Holy Spirit to pierce their heart and open up their eyes and recognize your creation is good for eternity. And I pray in Jesus' name, amen. All right, well, I had to, I find myself going down sometimes in mockery. And I believe it or not, I don't like doing that. I'd rather not do that. It's hard to not to, though, when you're like, dude, how can you be so fearful of something that I shouldn't do it. I try not to, but I do. All right. I'm get out of here, my friends. It's appreciate y'all being here. And it's remember, we are literally in the realm of the creator of everything. Look, I don't trust NASA as far as I could kick them, but let's just say that new NASA telescope is true. And I'm not sure I believe it, but let's just say it is. Those images off the galaxies that are out there are stunning. Stunning. Big. I mean, if that is true, regardless if it's true or not, the facts are, well, I can't say the facts. My belief system is that, true or not, the vastness of the unknown world. I just think we've never been in the center of the earth, by the way. Just think about it. I mean, it's just crazy. We have no clue what's down there. We have ideas, but we don't. And we have no clue what's up there. We have ideas, but we don't know. But it's just anyway. The point being is, God created all that, man. Heavenly Father. And you're sitting there thinking, if those pictures are true, the beauty of those pictures relative to the hairs on your head that's talks about in the Bible, you're like, whoa. And then you think, he wants a relationship with you and me. I just, every day, I just sit there in awe, like, why? Of all the things I do to disobey and just minimize the Lord in my life, and yet that eternal supernatural being, for some reason, still, according to the Christian Bible, still wants a personal relationship with us. It's amazing. And the Christian Bible is what I believe in. I believe in the redemption through Jesus Christ, God's only Son, who gave his life on the cross, on the tree, suffered immense pain, immense mockery, to come back and show himself to 530 people. And of those 530 people, a number of them went to horrible deaths themselves, the same people who denied him, who saw the miracles he was doing, the same people who said, nah, I don't know who that guy is, even though they saw with Jesus him walking on water, him bringing the fish, doing all these miracles. And they denied him. And those same people later on said, I'm going to go to my death proclaiming his name and glory. What happened in between? What happened? Well, either those things are fake, all those scriptures and gospels, or they saw Jesus rise from the dead. One of those two things. Because you don't sit there and say, nah, Jesus, I don't know you. And watch him be executed, and then turn around and have the same thing happen to you, like Peter in freaking Rome upside down. You don't just do that, man, unless something profound happened in the interim. It's crazy. Well, they made it up. Well, okay, you can make an argument of that. I think the argument is on weak sauce, but whatever. I mean, that'd be the best argument to have. Well, they made it up, Josh. Like, okay. And it's weird because our cult of Christianity, Jesus never tried to get with your wife. Jesus never tried to freaking steal your money. Jesus never tried to have you kill people like most cults do. Our cult is to love one another and give your jacket off your back. And look, I trust me, I'm the biggest hypocrite there is. I'm just sitting there thinking, don't make any sense, man. Jesus never tried to sleep with my wife. Jesus never tried to have me give him money so he could live like a king. Jesus never wanted me to do damage to other people. Jesus just said, love one another and love God as you love yourself. It's more than just love God more than anything. That's it. Crazy. And yet he was sitting there, denied. And the same people who denied him. It's crazy. Took the rhetorical bullet for him later on. It doesn't make sense. Is that a lie? That's all you got, man. Not you guys. That's all you got. Anyway. Quality of NASA pics with the pick of thug that robs a local gas station. Yeah, man, that's funny. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, I wasn't trying to bust your guts too much, man. Just Ginnie Mae. It's okay. The 5.5% duration means it can drop by 5.5%. Interest rates go up. That's it. And then you get reinvestment benefit of having reinvest in higher interest rates. Just stop looking at stuff, man. It's boring. It's boring. Stop. All right. I get out of here. God bless you guys. We'll see you. Thanks for being around here. See you later. Thanks, Rex.